All right, good afternoon, everyone. This meeting is the meeting of the Town of Fort Myers Beach Bay Oaks Recreational Campus Advisory Board, and it is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, and it is 12:02 p.m., and I'd like to call this meeting to order, beginning with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. A couple of announcements. I'm sorry.
Did we vote to get John in yet? Okay.
Yes, I was going to do that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
But I just wanted to first mention Betty.
Yeah.
Our president of BORCAB, who has been president for as long as I've been a member of BORCAB, recently passed away, and we're very saddened by her absence, and we will look forward to new candidates to fill this position and have an election. I believe that would be next month. So we will. We have great respect for what Betty was able to accomplish for the town all these years, and we miss her tremendously. And I'm sure the rest of the BORCAB members share this sentiment. I would like to call the meeting to order first by asking our current members here if we're allowed to bring John in as a Zoom call. And may I have a consensus that we can do that with all of you?
Motion approved.
Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all approve. All right, John, you are now available to join us legally. Thank you for being here on Zoom. Your weather looks beautiful out there. There's no question about it. So now I'll call oh, is that somebody's phone? Okay. Oh, I had to.
We have public comment today.
Yes, okay, begin with Jeff.
Jeff Helge, Community Services Director, Town of Fort Myers
Roll
Beach.
call.
Neil Mathis, Parks and Rec Manager.
Becky Guidry.
Barbara Hill.
Michelle Cherney. Joy Sullivan.
Ed Schoonover.
Karen Woodson.
Great. Okay.
John Dislear, via Zoom.
And John, thank you. We then have the approval of the minutes. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review those minutes from June 25th. We did not meet in July, as you recall.
August.
I'm sorry?
Or August.
Or August, that's true, exactly. Motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Michelle, thank you. Second?
Joy Sullivan seconds.
Joy. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion approved. Thank you very much. And then we'll go to public comment, and I see one of the people in the audience is one of our dear friends, Bay Oaks enthusiast, Howie. Would you like to speak for a few moments? No? What? I thought you had a speech for us.
No, I got no speech. What I think is that Bay Oaks should be.
You have to come up and introduce yourself. Come on, Howie.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Howard Hoffman. I lived here on Fort Myers Beach for 27 years. I've seen Bay Oaks rise, and I've seen it fall, and I want to see it rise again. I want the island to be better than it was. Not just great again, I want it better than it ever was. And I think we could do that by making full use of Bay Oaks itself. The walking path I find to be kind of funny because it gets hot out there and I can't see anybody with no shade walking around. Now, if we had another field, I could see people using it and things like that. And if we had the pool fixed, that I've been told we have money, but this is Fort Myers Beach. Only believe 50% of what you actually see. And don't believe 100% of what you hear, because it's all somebody else's vision. And I just think that as a committee, you guys could get it together and make this a better island. And also, this is ridiculous all the way downtown, down over here. It's 1,000,000 miles away. What am I, in Naples? And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Howie.
How you doing? I want to introduce myself. I'm Rick Lowry. I put in a letter of intent to join the committee, and hopefully I will. Hopefully I'll be accepted. But I was on the committee in the past, so first I want to say thanks to Betty. I was vice chairman for quite a few years with Betty, and she did a tremendous job, and I think it was 34 years on this committee or something like that. So it's great to have somebody like that involved, and we're dearly going to miss her. So some of the questions I have for Bay Oaks is the budget, how much was in the budget for this year and next year, and also as far as the rebuild plans. Before Ian, I know we had a $17 million project plan for Bay Oaks. I'd like to know where that stands and where we are with that, because like Howie said, there's quite a few things that us residents are missing, including the big field, the Frisbee golf, the pool, things for us, adults and younger kids that the island has desperately said that they want children and they want families on the beach. But yet when we look at Bay Oaks right now, I just don't see anything there for them other than an after-school program. So I look at trying to get myself more involved in this idea and working with Bay Oaks and trying to figure it out. I spent about 25 of my 34 years coaching on the fields at Little League there. Also soccer, football, basketball. I worked in the rec program for a little bit, volunteering. I'm very familiar with it, so if you have any questions and I don't make the committee, I'm always willing to answer anything. Just feel free to ask me. But I'm here if anyone's got any questions, and I would like to find out about the budget and what the rebuild plans are, because right now it just seems like a big open space of nothing. And even in the past, before we even conducted that, idea to come up with a $17 million plan, Bay Oaks was like a Metro Geo compared to a Cadillac. We went and visited, as a committee, we went and visited other centers from all over the county, from Sanibel to Fort Myers to other islands of Marco. We're not anywhere near that yet, so we really want to create a center now that we have a blank slate that's going to fit in to make children want to come to this beach, make families want to come to this beach, so it has more to offer, if that's what we're looking for. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Staff liaison report, and by the way, speaking of the staff, you guys have done a great job with the new town hall. It looks fantastic. Congratulations. I know it was a long time coming. I mean, actually, it's been since 3 years, almost exactly three years that Hurricane Ian destroyed our old town hall, and so now we finally have a new one. So great job. It looks wonderful. I'm sure everyone else is as excited about it. All new AV equipment too, which is great. Thank you, Jeff. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's I've come a long way since being in non-air conditioned and air conditioned tents. So this is a great time to be here with a new facility and actually space to work in. It's kind of strange because we've been so close to each other, and like even the trailers that we're spread out now, we have to actually walk to go talk to somebody. We can't just yell at them. So good problem to have, but we're loving the building and look forward to everything that it can be used for. I'm just going to start out. Neil and I are going to kind of tag team the staff report. I'm going to address just some of the comments, and one of the things I was going to comment on also is the budget. If you didn't watch the hearing last Wednesday, Bay Oaks, well, the council had asked us as a staff to come up with some cuts to try to bridge the gap of the deficit of our budgets. We were running out of the general fund right around, I think it was started out to be 1.2 million out of the general fund was for Bay Oaks. Our revenue, of course, with the hurricane hasn't really got up there yet because we haven't we don't think we've been in the facility at all for a full year. I don't think so. But so we were asked to make some tough cuts or propose some tough cuts. And if you watched it on Wednesday, between Bay Oaks and the Mound House, we made some extraordinary cuts. We took off about $500,000 off of our Bay Oaks budget in total.
And
What-
that's just for the Bay Oaks?
That's just Bay Oaks. So my job was to come up with some of that. As far as to balance the budget, we were about 1.6 in deficit, 1.5 for this budget year. 1.9 for the budget year. So a lot of that was programs that weren't necessarily, I hate to say not essential, because we all think that recreation is essential. But we needed to bridge that gap. Traditionally, about, I think it's 24% of a municipality rec budget comes from fees. So memberships, daily fees, those kind of things. We had been sitting, just because of the way it is, we've been sitting at, I think, 11 or 12. So we really needed to bridge that gap a little bit more. But also attendance, we haven't been open, and the population has gone down significantly. And our attendance has obviously suffered. You know, with even pickleball, we used to have all 8 of those courts full. You know, we're not seeing that anymore. We're not seeing the weight room full. Now we're getting there. We're coming back. Our numbers are going up as we've been open. But with some of those cuts, and what I did, my job was on Wednesday is to kind of go over the risks that are going to happen, that may happen if we have to cut that much money. So we had cut, well, the special events was one of them. That's still up, kind of in debate during it. That was about $200,000 out of the Bay Oaks budget for special events. But that also means no Easter egg hunt, no Fright Night.
So it doesn't mean it's whittled
Turn your
down.
mic on.
It doesn't mean it's whittled down. It means it's cut, like out.
Cut.
Okay.
So far, that's proposed. We have till next week. The council has one more week to decide what they want to do. But they had just asked me to propose some cuts to bridge that gap and get that deficit down to a 0 for the town. So we ended up proposing to cut our not special events, our athletics coordinator. And the risk for that obviously would be we don't have clinics, we don't have tournaments, we don't have leagues. The last thing I want to do is, and I know Neil already started doing it, but our staff, we only have five staff down there right now. We used to have about 12. That means not being open on weekends, not being open extended hours. So these are all the things that I had brought up as risks, obviously, for the rec center. And then that would be up to the council to kind of weigh those risks versus what the cuts would mean. So we cut 3 rec aides, the athletics coordinator, program supplies, pretty much everything that we could, we cut down to almost the bare minimum. Not that obviously we wanted to, but that's what we were asked to do. Yes, there is definite risks that we as staff don't want to make. I mean, we want to have the rec center open on weekends. We want to invite more families for community events, but the reality is that the 5 staff that we have that have to run the after-school program, we have one that's still going to run the BOSS program, but also helps with the after-school program. It's just going to be very limited as to what we can do. And the last thing I kind of want to do, even though, like I said, Neil's already been doing it, is tell somebody they have to do 2 jobs. I think that was one of the things I brought up too, is that, just because they asked us to make cuts doesn't mean I'm going to task Neil with also being the athletic coordinator. It doesn't run that way. We burn people out, which I feel like we may anyway, having 5 staff, but that's kind of where we're at with the budget. So we cut, the original one, we had already cut about, I think, 60,000, and then we were asked to cut more, and it was an additional 400-some thousand that we cut off of the Bay Oaks budget. It has a bigger budget than Mound House. Mound House, we cut about 130,000 off of it, just because the budget's bigger at Bay Oaks. But to kind of answer those questions about budget, yeah, that's gonna have to be something that the council kind of takes into account, and if that's what they so choose, then that's what we gotta go with, and that's what we have to work with, so. I know that's a tough decision for them too, so I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it, but it
Can
is
I-
what it is.
Can I just add a little bit to that?
Yes, please.
So as of this past week, so originally, we had looked at the millage rate increase of 1.2, I think it was. We're down to 1.15 with just taking in these first round of cuts. And then it was asked, and not just at Bay Oaks, I mean, it was asked across the board.
Yes.
This is the first proposal. What are the risks of doing this? What are the risks to the town, to the people, everything else? So by doing it a 1.15, I think we came out to be, we'll have a $700,000 shortfall versus a 1.9 or 1.8, something like that. So it's still in the works. I met with the town manager and Joe Onzik on Tuesday. Joe had some additional thoughts and savings and rearranging of where to pull money from, and not just from the general fund. We're looking closely at fees and where they fit into everything. Again, our biggest thing hanging out there is the $10 million bridge loan that we still don't know if we have to pay back. There's a lot of discussion that, there's never been a precedent set that you haven't had to pay it back. But even if we could get a partial relief, so in 2 weeks, when everyone's back in Tallahassee, that will be one of the main discussions. But that doesn't come in time for us to set our millage rate, because the millage rate has to be set next Wednesday evening at the budget meetings. So I know there's a lot of work still going on it. It's not just Bay Oaks being hit. It is the Mound House, it's everything, how we operate. It's the town, it's refilling positions, it's, how it affects permitting and maintenance and everything in the town. So it's a tough decision, but we have to bridge that gap, and we have to have funds available, emergency funds available, and right now we don't.
So,
Can I ask a question? When does the fiscal year start and stop?
October 1st it starts.
October 1st.
So any cuts you make would begin in October?
Correct.
Immediately.
We've had open positions that we just didn't fill knowing this might happen. But yeah, October 1 would be, we don't have to cut, luckily, we don't have to cut any current staff, which is great. So we don't have to cut any current staff, so that would be much, much harder. This isn't hard enough, but, I'm sorry, yeah, Councilor Woodson, I should have said that we're making cuts across the board. It wasn't just us. It's mooring field, it's permitting, it's, community development, so we're all making them. It just, Bay Oaks was the biggest one to get cut because it had the most deficit as far as general fund goes.
Right. And because we haven't been open.
Correct.
We've been rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding, how many times?
yeah,
and
Milton
we
was less
haven't
than a
been
year
open.
ago.
Pardon?
Milton was less than a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, and really,
Well, a
Parks
year
and
ago now,
Rec
pretty much.
and things like that always get picked up by general fund. It's not like we typically make money. It sounds odd, but it's more of a community amenity that we have that's picked up by the general fund. So we've always had these shortfalls as far as that goes. It just got really highlighted this year because we had a $1.9 million deficit that we had to bridge that gap.
And thank you for the input, and I guess I have a couple of questions, I'm sure others do too. But with regard to the decrease in the millage rate, is there any conversation, I didn't watch the budget meeting, but is there any conversation among council members with regard to keeping the millage rate as proposed, which then would allow for some of this shortfall to be reconciled.
There was discussion on that, in order to, and even coming into this next budget meeting, it has to be, in order to move it from what it was and now the new proposed of 1.15, even to keep it at this 1.15, we have to have a majority vote. Right now, we have a 3-2 split. And so there's a lot of work to be done by Will and Joe in laying all of this out, just for the council in general, because right now, we have a total split.
And Karen, isn't it 4 out of the 5 would have to vote for that? Not just majority, is it? I think it's 4 out of the 5.
Supermajority, is that?
You know what, I didn't bring my council phone with me. Joe actually broke it all down for us, like at what level do we have to have a full vote, 5-0, or a 4-1. And I think a 4-1 is even less than this 1.15. It doesn't take it down, back down to the 9-9, but it does take it down to like a 1.0 or something like that.
And I think that
would be
was
a
a
4-1.
increase of about 160,000.
Yeah, which,
I mean,
I mean, to me, if it's 160,000, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's like, why bother? That doesn't help us at all. There were very, very strong feelings about bringing it back from the 1.2 even to this 1.15.
but it's not going to go any lower than the current rate.
The current rate is 0.99, and no, it would never go lower than that.
Well, and I think even with the 1.2 proposed millage rate, we're still at the lowest millage rate of any municipality in Lee County.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, to me, that is ludicrous. I mean, to me, Fort Myers Beach has gone through a series of horrible disasters with all of these storm surges. And it's not fair for any town to have to deal with this, with a budget shortfall and keeping this record-breaking low rate of millage on an annual basis. To me, the justification for keeping it at the 1.2 millage rate seems completely appropriate. If nothing more than psychologically showing that the town is willing to, you know, make this town whole again. And part of making this town whole again is our recreation and cultural facilities. These residents that are moving back into their homes after being gone for 3 years are looking for this. The people that were out for a bit but have been back, but the place has been closed, are all jumping in, ready to participate, only to find that there's this huge budget shortfall, which allows us to not have the programs we've been looking forward to. So to Howie's point, and your point as well, I can't remember your name, I'm sorry. Greg. Rick, sorry. Yes, I remember you from before, when you gave a presentation years ago to Bay Oaks. Is to me not fair to Bay Oaks, not fair to the town, not fair to the residents.
But unfortunately, that's not what we heard from constituents. People in the town were beside themselves. that
If
we
I
would
may
even
interject.
think.
Yes, Michelle.
I can understand your concern. We've all been in businesses before, it's budget cutting. I don't think there's anything we can do right now. I think they've made us aware of what the budget cuts. I would rather like spend some energy on what ideas can we do to move forward if we're cut with these budgets. For example, we brought it up 3 months ago, and I'm actually curious what these two would think out here. We talked about raising the rates and the fees for using the facilities. So I'm gonna start right there. The second one, I mean, it breaks my heart. I volunteered for that Easter egg hunt. There were hundreds of kids there. They had so much fun, the Halloween. Those are minimal things that I would say that we need to get creative and bring together volunteers and do that to help Neil's staff so that we can still bring ideas and programs together. We need to help. The communities, if we have a shortfall, these are things we can help do and come up with solutions. But standing here and saying what's gonna happen with the mill rate, in my opinion, we have nothing we can do. We need to come up with ideas to get around it if it is the worst case scenario.
Well, I think the millage rate is an important part, though, because that could bring $700,000 and bring back some of our programs. That was
Exactly.
one of the things that I think Karen even brought up was, I think we should, her suggestion was to raise it and then get a staff or two back at Bay Oaks. So it is a conversation, but then you also have the emergency fund that has, if we have another storm, we need money in there. So,
The other thing I also brought up too was we now have the Friends organization. And the main role of the Friends organization is to support the park. So if we want to have events like the Easter egg hunt and that kind of thing, it's up to the Friends organization to help get that funded through donations, sponsorships, whatever it may be. I mean, that's the whole reason that we would even have a Friends organization, is really to help support
Yeah.
Bay Oaks.
And we've had, and I just want to thank all the committees out there, the Women's Club, the Fort Myers Community Foundation. That's how we were able to do Fright Night this year. We got donations from them. So there are other avenues we could get, but, we have had they've been good partners for us too. I mean, they gave us money for scholarships, these different organizations. So I want to just, thank them for all that they did too, because that's really increased what we can do. But as far as the fees go, we're going to raise them just a little bit. That's the proposed fee. Not a whole lot. We went through this just pre-Ian, and it was, I don't know if anybody else was on, but it was quite
Yes.
contentious
I think there's the two of us.
to raise it at all. And then we get this year, why would you raise fees? Because there's not as much going on there. So we get the back and forth. So we're proposing, raising them a little bit. I think it's from a resident, we're raising them $25. I think it's, or 15, is it 75? I think so. But this year it'll include pickleball. We don't have to pay that extra $5 each time you go. That kind of thing. So we want to keep the rates, definitely reasonable, but not to where they're going to go somewhere else and use a facility. That's the kind of the catch-22 on everything, right? You raise it too high, no one's going to show up. But, yeah.
So Jeff, included in those cuts that you've proposed so far, does that include the spin classes and the yoga classes?
Nope, those will all come back, and we're working with vendors to come back. Those are actually nice and easy for us because it's a contractual agreement. It's a 80-20 split, or 70-30? 70-30 split. So they come in, they do it, and then they kind of give us the 30% back cut. So yes, we're working on that. I know I've been reaching out to, I think it was Kenny Charles and his group, because they do some more intense fitness things that they've been doing on the beach, and they used to do it at down by Moss Marina, and so we've been really trying to get those going to come back. So hopefully we'll get those kind of things. The thing with all those is, they need a certain minimum too to run their programs, and after Ian, when we opened up, we weren't really getting those. But now we have a few more residents back. We're promoting for, Pink Shell and Margaritaville, promoting to their guests, like, you can just come and join these, So we're really trying to do some marketing on our end to try to get Bay Oaks used. I mean, there just isn't, I know we want to get families back, but there's just not a whole lot. I mean, our after-school program is, how many do we have now?
So we have 24 right now in our after-school program, but we started out with only about 10, so we've been.
Yeah, I mean, if that's an indication, I mean, we used to get 75 to 80.
But I think that's
think
part
that
of the
we have-
issue.
yeah.
Like, I think that's with the raising rates part of it. So you raise the rates and you cut the hours, because that's where the budget falls. But now you're open like Monday through Friday during working hours. Not everybody on this island is retired. And that's what happens with the families. It's like with the school. The school shuts down. And it's not that these families don't want to send their kids to the school anymore. It's because they don't want them to change schools every 2 months.
Right.
So they go somewhere else. And then everybody goes, well, the enrollment's down. Why open? It's going to be the same thing with Bay Oaks. You open it only during working hours and the rates are raised, then people aren't going to go. Like,
That-
our family cannot go. Like,
Yeah.
when, my kids are in school, there's weekends that you can go do stuff. And then there used to be things like the basketball for the kids that isn't there anymore, and that's, I mean, it seems like it'd be funds coming in, I guess you pay somebody to coach and all that. I don't know how much that costs to do things like that, but there were no uniforms, there were no games. It was just lessons, basically. But it was
And-
fun, you know? I mean,
And like I said, only about 10% of those fees were going to the Bay Oaks revenue. The rest was picked up by general fund. So the more stuff you do, the more general fund you're probably gonna use. Even if you
Right.
raise the fees a crazy amount, you're still gonna have to make cuts with this budget.
well, like you said, we
But-
did talk about it before, Ian. It was like 2021 or 22. We were like trying to restructure the fee schedule and all that. But it was such a completely different ballgame. I mean, it was open all the time. It was all this equipment and all these fundings and all these things. It's like you have to charge for what you have is the problem. And then the less you have, the less you have to charge. And then you wind up like the school with nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
that's-
downward spiral to me. I don't see how it works.
That's a dilemma. That's why we didn't want to raise it too much, just enough. But you're right. I mean, I would love to have it open weekends with the staff that we had on the books to be hired. We had enough to be open at least Saturdays.
Right.
Extended hours till maybe 9 o'clock or so. Be open early. I mean, we used to be open 7 a.m. to what, 8
Yeah.
p.m.?
7 to 8.
I would love for that. I'm not saying that I'm making excuses. It's just the reality of only having 5 staff. You have to
I
have
get
people
it.
there.
I think it's just going to whittle down, and it's going to, well, you don't really need it anymore because look how many people are going. But you've created that monster. And that's what happened in the school. Why go there? Nobody wants to go somewhere else. Nobody wants to drive off island if they don't have to. Really, I mean, we live in a little bubble here on
Right.
purpose.
And I think to Michelle's point is that stuff we have to try to figure out.
Well, I think that's where the Friends comes in too. Like the Easter
Yeah.
egg hunt. We've gone to Easter egg hunt for 7 years since we've lived here. Like that's amazing. My kids are older now and they still love it. You know. But
Yeah, for everybody
you
here.
need the donations. You need the bounce houses.
Yep.
You need the
For
the
everybody
candy.
here and everybody listening, so with the help of Karen and Becky, all of us, the Friends of Bay Oaks died 3 years ago.
Oh,
Just
longer.
Yeah,
Longer
longer
than
than
that,
that.
went
Yeah, yeah.
underground.
Yeah,
But
10
after fishing and help, we actually even I reached out to the Friends of Lovers Key, but we have pulled back. We've got the checking account, we've got check deposited. The town still owes us one more check, but we've got a whole group. We've got, I believe, 7 people, including somebody that even went to this school. They're all local most of them are local residents. We're looking for additional people. They've put together, their next meeting is September 29th, and they're going to start the process of identifying each of the roles, marketing, finance, secretary, and we're looking for additional people to join that. So that is going to be kicking into high gear here starting the 29th. We've already had initial meetings, but we are still looking for volunteers to help on that. We're looking for anyone that wants to help support it. There's another area that you can help in for volunteering. So that'll be the arm that'll help bring funding from a different angle to help support it. We'll be working with us and the staff on where are those gaps and where do we want to see that money. I think the top priority right now might be some of the children events, so.
Yeah, so we have, I checked yesterday with finance and we still have $18,000 in there that needs to come back to you, but it's still just earmarked for the Friends. It's not getting touched by anything else, but we're gonna work on getting that check back to you.
Awesome.
As soon as we can.
And Karen got us the last missing check, the check that we had. We've got the banking account back open, we've got somebody running that, so, right now, there's about $800 in there, so
Yeah.
they've got,
Yeah,
at
and
least
we-
can get started.
And we know from the Friends of the Mound House that they are a tremendous help. They have, with the Mound House, they have, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars they've raised for Mound House activities. So we do know that they work and they're much appreciated. I think Michelle's plea for people to volunteer is that we can't do it. Like the committee members here can't be a part of that due to the Sunshine Law and conflict of interest, that they can't be a fundraising arm for this too. So
I thought you just couldn't be a board member.
a board member, yeah, you can be a friend, but you can't be a board member. So they're trying to get as many people as they can to try to get on board. So
But there's little things out there that I think we need to, that we can try to get in Bay Oaks. Like you're part of the Women's Club, right, Joy? So I know the Christmas Tree Festival is not at Bay Oaks this year.
No, Margaritaville.
Right, and so I understand some people were told that it couldn't be at Bay Oaks, that Bay Oaks couldn't handle it, and in reality, Bay Oaks was never asked. So, like to be able to get things like that would just, even if it's not necessarily bringing money into Bay Oaks, that it's showing people, hey, look, we're redone. Look how great this looks. Look what you can do here, and that kind of stuff. So just trying to get all of our community on board, instead of just
to
pulling
add-
in different
I-
directions.
I'd like to recognize, because we had our town manager arrive here, and I would like to welcome you to our Bay Oaks Advisory Board meeting, but also giving you an opportunity to speak to our group if you would like. This has happened with a lot of previous town managers where they're only too thrilled. Maybe you're not thrilled, but we're delighted to have you here.
Thanks, Barbara. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome,
Will McCann, Town Manager. It's great, and I just want to start off by thanking all of you for being involved and in as much as you are in many different ways for this community. We can't do it without the community support and all of your support. And for those of you that I haven't met personally yet, I'm glad to see you all and here today. So it's a difficult time, as Jeff is describing to you, and I know you all recognize that. And you're here because you want to help the town find solutions to that and keep some of the great programs. Neil and Jeff have made some difficult sacrifices and helped us find some creative ways to continue to provide programs to the maximum extent possible within our resources, and maintaining good quality of life, good work environment, so forth for for our town employees as well as the community members here. So that's our goal. Our goal is to find a way to continue providing as many services as we can, as many resources as we can for our community members. You deserve it. We recognize that. And we're continuing to have the discussions. Even after this meeting, Jeff will be joining us for yet another budget steering committee meeting that I've been having every other day with the staff ever since we started working on this next year's budget. And we'll continue that going forward, but right now it's essential. We've got the next budget hearing next week. Council gave us some guidance to go back. One of the things they wanted us to go back and look at is how can we maybe find a way, either with a millage rate increase or without, to address those full-time employee equivalents that Jeff, really the Bay Oaks is looking at maybe not filling in the next year. And we've got some recommendations that we'll discuss the next couple of days. We'll bring back to council for them to consider. But in order to do that, there have to be other trade-offs. That's just kind of the situation that we're in. We are government light. We want to stay government light. I don't want to grow this government, but right now we're in a situation where we've got to consider many different things across all departments, as well as looking at our emergency funds and so forth. So I invite you all to listen. I know you probably will be either listening or attending next Wednesday when we bring that to them, and I'm happy to answer any questions on it you might have right now.
Do you have a
Well,
question?
I do have a question about how this annual budget impacts the pool, because I thought the pool was kind of separate grants, and so theoretically, right, we can continue to work towards getting that pool designed, and, I mean, it's a big, huge draw, and if you want families to come in and maybe increase a little bit on the fees, what better way is to have a beautiful pool? I mean,
Yeah,
it's a huge
absolutely. It is continuing forward. This doesn't affect our plan. I'll let Jeff talk details here in a minute where we're at. He had another meeting this morning, I think, with county on the CDBGR funding and so forth. But it absolutely is a priority of ours. And yes, we get that back online. It'll help us with a lot of these programs. I know that's how popular of a resource
yeah,
that was.
because it's an eyesore almost right now,
That,
too.
well, from an aesthetics perspective, but also from a just a resiliency town infrastructure, and also the what it provides to the community and even to visitors to the community. Jeff, you have an update for him on the?
Yeah, that's obviously on my list to talk about. But yeah, the process is still moving forward. We still have that money to build the pool. We just went out to bid for the architect or for the design part of it, we awarded it to Arch Aquatics out of Sarasota. They were the only bid we got. So
Good job for them getting the award.
yes, that was great. No, we have an interview with them. We have to do 2 public interviews. So the CDBG DR is, if I say intense, that's lightening it. We have to go from the county, who has to get approval. The county has to approve it, and then it goes to the Department of HUD. They have to approve it from the county, and then it goes back to the county, and then it goes to us. So any kind of revisions or, anything in the contracts that happens, or paperwork, or environmental reviews, has to go through all those. And we thought, I know I probably even said it too, ooh, we're gonna get the money, we're gonna be good to go. Okay, at one meeting, they had said, we're gonna give you all the money up front, you guys can just go with it. They've backtracked on that a little bit, where we have reimbursement, so, and then just for the design, for instance, we don't have to do this normally, but we have to do 2 public interviews with them. So, just for instance, we did the South Water, or the North Water Tower, we just did an interview with Tetra Tech, who has the bid, and then we have to do 1 more. So and we have to give enough notice between those so the public can show up. So it is, I'm happy we have the money, and I want to keep reassuring people that we still have it and we're working towards it. It's just been quite the process. We have probably a good 7 of our admin staff that are actually working on it. It's a huge grant to get. And it is moving forward, and yes, it is moving slow. I do understand that. But we're going through the processes. We're not holding them up, and they're not trying to hold us up, but there's legality things when it comes to the federal and the local government that they need to, cross the T's and dot the I's. And was I hoping, we'd start? Yes, obviously, yes. But it is something that has been funded before. We didn't have any funds for it. And if we didn't have CDBG DR, we wouldn't have any funds for it. We just wouldn't. So this is our opportunity. I mean, if someone wanted to come in and, donate a pool to us, we wouldn't say no. But this is our one opportunity that we have that's actually stuck. We tried about 10 different things to try to get funding for that pool, with writing grants and those kind of things, and this is, quite frankly, the only thing that's stuck for us.
John, we have not had an opportunity for you to speak, and so now that we're talking about the pool, John, you have some words?
I'm having a hard trouble hearing Barbara when she's talking.
Oh, I don't know why, but, John, I'm asking if you have any words for all of us with regard to your comments about the pool.
Oh, how much time do we have again? The number one thing is obviously, maybe I can chime in and say I'm probably the most frustrated, but at the same time, this is the be patient time that everybody was talking about to us when we were being patient before. So this is the part of the process that is really, really difficult if you have your swim cap and goggles in hand. You can keep them in the bag for a little while. But less about a pool and more about just general fundraising. In today's fundraising climate, you have to show either a project is about 50% completed, or you have 50% of the funding and a plan in hand before anybody's going to come to you with a major donation. And one of the things that's a little bit in our way and probably going to make it harder is people with money at that level are very successful people, and their biggest questions are, we are 3 years out of this. Has it been managed? We know the answers to these questions, so none of this is to the group. How is this being managed that we don't have a pool halfway built at this point? Now, we all know all the correct black and white answers to that, but it's going to get harder and harder to ask because that's what donors want to know. I know that when there is water in the pool, November, December, January, you will be looking at a minimum, without much effort, $10 to $15 to $20,000 worth of rentals from teams coming in to Fort Myers Beach. I know I'm a bit of a broken record on that, but that is going to be budget relief wherever you want that budget relief, whether it's in the pool operations itself or the two other programming. You know, it doesn't make sense to keep being upset about not having a pool, but it is such a draw that we cannot put on paper, because we did not have massive amounts of people using the pool before, because the pool wasn't incredibly appealing before. Now, it can be the same pool in the same hole and be a lot more appealing by how it's marketed this next time, by how it's open this next time. You know, before 9 or 10 in the morning. I'm getting into weeds, but that brings me to, you know, stop talking about the pool and ask, you know, what are the things we can be doing? We've spent the meeting so far on what we're probably going to be prevented from doing, but the things that we can do that show all of that to the citizens, to the public, to the visitors, wow, the beach renourishment is clear. Roll out those carpets that we've been waiting for, because we've made sense in not having some of those out, but in a practical sense, we've prevented a lot of people from even rolling or using walkers out to the edge to get their feet on the sand. So, you know, if that's something that we can do, is there a time, space, is there a deadline for getting those out? I know we're in storm season, that could be the next reason, but you know, those come up pretty quick too. And one of the people that spoke before the meeting talked about shade. I mean, the sun is a killer, and where's the shade? Shade costs money, but again, a facility, I've asked about it a couple of times, and there's been good reasons along the way. But that workout area out in front of Bay Oaks, is that shaded yet? Do we have it in hand? Is it just a matter of getting the workers out there to get it done? We have a lot of construction people in our community that we may be able to draw on after everybody signs all their liability off and all those sorts of things. The places that we don't have budget, we have people. And leaning towards the friends now who are getting organized, we can ask or task or beg the friends, will you help us make sure that none of our children's special programming goes without happening? Us adults, we can keep biting the bullet for the stuff we love to happen, but maybe we need to lean on the friends, and maybe that'll help. Maybe a sale to the public is, hey, when we ask and we beg, everybody will come through for $100 here and there. That's all that millage rate's gonna cost everybody. So, you know, do we want to keep going to the well privately or go to the well once publicly? Well, I either just made friends or enemies on that statement, but I'm paying for an empty lot with a driveway, and I'm willing to pay another couple $100 for that empty lot and driveway, so that our Bay Oaks meeting, the first 40 minutes isn't about our despair, but it's about our plans and our programming. Wow, that was a lot more than you asked for.
No,
Well-
John, and
Well
I
said,
agree.
John, thank you, and.
I agree. I
back
just
to
wanted the
John.
reality of what may be coming to be out there. If you
Yeah.
didn't watch the budget meeting, I talked for, well over a half hour about the risks of what the council may have to vote on.
Can I ask Will 2 more questions?
Yeah, then I have a list of things I want to answer from John, so.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Go ahead, Will.
Will, I just read two things. First one is, this is not our first bid that's come out, that we only have one vendor bid on it. We've actually had bids where we've had no vendors, which keeps delaying the process. And you've been here a few months. What can we do to get additional contractors to help bid here on the island so that we don't have these delays.
Well, I
We-
think,
We have, I'm sorry, we have talked about this. I know Jeff and I have talked about this. Go, I'll let you start.
Yeah, so the problem is we can't go and solicit people to bid. It
No.
goes out on Demand Star, which goes out throughout the United States. All contractors can look at it. It's a very big, wide network, but we can't go to a pool company and say, please bid on this. We can't advocate for one company or another to bid, which makes it tough because even though we might like one, we can't say, please bid
Well,
on it. It's just not ethical.
Yeah.
But so we can't, we can put the word out there. It gets published. It goes to Demand Star, and it goes to certain categories when we do it. So, like for Newton Park, for instance, the first time we had one, and now we had 5. So it's just whoever looks at it and wants to bid on it, it's up to them. So we can't advertise necessarily.
Yeah, that I understand. I'm looking more at, have we done a gap analysis? I can tell you as building a house right now, that I've caught more than one contractor who automatically raises the prices up as soon as you say Fort Myers Beach. Have we done any analysis? I mean, do we have an issue do we have a reputation that you don't want to work with Fort Myers Beach?
I think part of the
or
problem is
the
whoever
gaps?
does this cannot build it, correct?
Whoever does the design cannot build it. Yes.
Right, so like, who wants to design it and not build it? I think that's part of the problem. Like, whoever does this, whoever bids for this design cannot build the pool.
Well, it's
So it's not a
also
whole
having to do
project
with the
thing.
budget. The design
It's not very
bid has to
appealing.
come within a certain budget for the design.
Right.
And
So
then
it's-
the
the
construction
parameters are
bid, the
not
same. It's,
Attractive, I would think.
Oh, and I think I was saying more generally, because it's not just the pool bid that we've had where we've had no bids, correct, or one bid.
Oh, you're right about contractors, though.
Yeah.
You tell them where
No,
you
it's
live,
good
and they're like, oh, yeah, and they get to your house and like, oh, no.
But that's been the issue since I've started working down here.
Yeah,
People
that's
don't
just
want to
the
come to
island.
the island, especially during
Correct.
season, to work because they're spending 2 hours in traffic. Even with staff, it was hard. It's kind of hard to get it once in a while if they don't live on the island. So, we've always, not always, since I've been here, we've had the issue of we could call an electrician, we could call 10 electricians, maybe one might show up, because of proximity. Now,
I think it's a
But-
great point, Michelle.
Yeah.
If I can, I'll definitely take that under advisement. I have initiated meetings, had one, I'm getting ready to have more, with Lee County Builders Association and the Southwest Florida Realtors Association and so forth, talking with those board members and those advisors. And I think that's a good way to possibly get that information and also get our message out, get our story out to those builders. So
Right, and the second one is an easy one.
Okay.
We all have been asking, and have brought this up, we have an easy pop that we can do for Bay Oaks. Can you please talk to that school and ask them to open that park up for us in the back?
we have tried and
Yep.
tried and tried, and I know Will is, town manager has tried. We're not getting much of a response right now at all from the school, and Will, I don't mean to talk for
I
you.
will.
but-
I'll talk to them again about it, Michelle.
I mean, if we all have
It's
to
not because
listen-
they're using it.
No. And I would agree, it's not like they're using it. They're not
We
putting
used to
any
be able to
indicators
use
out
it.
there that they're planning on using it anytime soon either. I mean, that's pretty evident. I'm not saying anything people don't know. So, yeah, we're still in dialogue, at the direction of the council, but myself and Dr. Kohler definitely are engaged on a regular basis with the leadership of the school district about the ILA for the school, and but also when it comes to maintaining the property. So I'll roll that into the discussion as
We
well.
used to be able to
Yeah.
use it.
Jeff has
after-
been talking to
after,
them.
school hours and on
Yeah.
weekends, we used to be able to go there anytime we wanted.
Yeah.
And that's what our interlocal says.
Yeah.
But they won't respond to it. The gentleman that I actually talked to, and I know, said that he's been taken off all the communication with the school. It's because of everything that's happening. I think they're just so localized in talking through lawyers and that kind of stuff that we can't get an answer.
Yeah, I'll try to elevate it to my level with the deputy superintendent.
That would just be, we would have a
Yeah.
park immediately, and we can easily maintain it. We're already maintaining right up to it for something for the kids to do. It's a great park sitting there doing nothing.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree. Thanks, Michelle.
any other questions for Will before he leaves from Bay Oaks members? No?
Again, thanks, everybody.
I don't know if we want to push back the budget meeting or if we want to just, I'm going to be a little bit.
I'll push it back for you a
Okay,
little bit, but again, great job, congratulations, Neil and Jeff and everybody. I mean, I think the the park area, you know, the new one is looking good. The grass is starting to come in, the walking trail around the outside. And pretty soon they'll start marking those new pickleball courts, and we're real excited about that. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, can I just go through a list real quick?
Yes,
Because I've
and
made a
that's
lot of
the-
notes that
it's
people
the
have asked
staff
questions about.
liaison report, yes.
Yes.
Continue.
So
Thank
Moby
you.
mats, John, to your point, we got them all in. We have them in the yard. We're starting to put the beach accesses back. We have all of the pilings and rope that we need to. So it's just a matter of person power, manpower, whatever you want to call it, to get that done. You know, the public works budget also was affected. So we're trying our hardest to get them out there. There are a number of locations that do have Moby mats and have had Moby mats, and we've been replacing them. We put out there that we do actually have 2 beach wheelchairs for anybody. People have been picking them up, using them free of charge. They just got to leave like their information and have an ID or something that we can have them use it. But we don't charge for our 2 beach wheelchairs, our ADA wheelchairs. So the mats are all going to be going out. We have them all. It's just a matter of all these projects that have been happening. You know, throughout the day we have potholes. And I know that's been in contention. I want my road done.
Are mats going on at every beach access or just
The ones that they were at.
ones they were at
Not
before?
everyone, but I'll have to get you a list of which ones.
I was curious.
Don't you have to also wait for the dune plantings?
We don't have to worry about that as much.
No?
Because they aren't going to be, it's not going to be as much heavy machinery back and forth. So
Okay.
we're just going to start putting them out. It's going to be season soon, and we know they need to go out. It's
Okay.
we're kind of, in a better term, sick of waiting too. So, but that's already started, which is great.
That's great news. I think it'd be worthwhile for the town to publish the listing of where they're all being placed.
Yep.
It just shows we've made progress.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was. I just talked to Nicole, our PIO, yesterday about it, because we had we've been having this conversation about which ones are out there and which ones are coming next, and then we want to also promote more our mobility chairs for people that come to the island that may need assistance. They're the ones with the big tires that I think you can rent them places in town, but we don't charge for ours. Which is another kind of, people say, why don't you charge for them? Well, because we want to be good stewards of the community too. We want people to have the opportunity. So Moby mats, walkway at Bay Oaks, the walking path. If you notice, if you've been down there in the last few days, we have red dots, red marks. We're putting in, I know our grant is for 75 trees. I don't know if we're putting them all in Bay Oaks, but we're putting shade trees and palm trees down there. They just dug the irrigation line for that, so there will be shade trees in the picnic areas that we have. So that's going to be happening as far as the shade goes. The park, part of the grant had to be a multi-use field. Okay, at first, yes, we said it was going to be a softball field, but we haven't seen the field we have be used. Just because there isn't any kids that are playing at Little League. They didn't have enough to make a team, that kind of thing. So they've been going to Bonita or going to where my son plays for the right age groups. I think they had 10 at one point because my son actually played down here just to get the kid, fill a team, but they weren't necessarily the right age groups either because it's 7 to 9. Yeah, it's like one. So we would love to do that, and I've been talking to Jimmy a little bit about just doing like maybe if we can find his hours to work on weekends or maybe at night doing like a 6-week T-ball thing for the younger kids to get them interested. So so that's coming up. We may have some money, and of course I'm not promising anything, but in park impact fees that we can use. We're researching a shade sale over the fitness court. I'm paying for that finally. Money, of course, kind of dried up for that project because we lost that $10 million grant after Ian, and that was part of the $17 million park improvement after Ian. First it was a debris site, and then we lost the $10 million grant. It expired and they wouldn't renew it. So that was part of the reason that we didn't go that route. So the multipurpose field, and I talked to Howie who spoke earlier about, you know, lining that for softball if we want. It can be lined for 2 full-size soccer fields. You know, if they want to come down and we can have concerts down there. We can have, if you want to come down, lacrosse, all those sorts of things. We wanted it multi-purpose because depending on the fad that's going on, it always is changing. You know, like first it was tennis and now it's pickleball. I'm not saying it's a fad, but you know, things just change over time. So we wanted to make it an open park that doesn't just sit there. Even when I was here pre-Ian, our softball field didn't get used very much. I know Howie's group for sure does a great job of utilizing that. But to have just another softball field where we can have an open space, and we have hopefully some plans and some ideas for big concerts down there at some point. You know, possibly we can gain revenue off some of those if they're big enough. And just, you know, to just have a multi-use field. We didn't want to specify one way or the other. That's what the grant called for, was a multi-use field. So that's why we went that direction. The walkway, if we have enough in park impact fees, we want to use, hopefully you've been to the Mound House and walked around there, they have flex pave. So we might want to do flex pave all the way around it. It's a lot easier if you're in a wheelchair, a walker, you know, even a stroller, whether it's for kids or dogs. It'll be a lot easier if you want to run around it. We're going to have markings like this is a quarter mile, whatever it is. I don't even know. Kilometers, sure, yeah. So, hot dogs?
Our dogs.
Oh, dogs? On a leash, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I have a dog. I love dogs. So we tried to get a dog park down there. Where we wanted to put it, we couldn't because of the what's it called? Coastal line.
This is the water, wasn't it?
Yeah. We were too close to the water, which takes
The
up a lot of
preserve.
bay oaks. So
It's the preserve, right?
the preserve, yeah. Which, if you look at it, it takes up a big chunk of that. Frisbee golf, it's our intent. We still have, I think, 3 holes, is to put them sporadically around. Once we get everything in and in place, that was one thing that I've always said we're going to get back. I know it's a big thing, but there are, I think, a couple holes still down there, but we'll extend that. I know we've talked about that too. And then the other thing we were looking at is, depending on how much in road impact fees we can use, is putting a shade, kind of a shade over the pickleball nets or pickleball courts for some shade. Now there's different views on that we've researched. You know, some have just one big one, which kind of traps in heat. But there's also, if you do the shade sail, it lets wind come through, which cools it off a little bit. So we've been doing that research to possibly get that and have a covered space for pickleball. So those are just some more improvements that we've been looking at.
And Jeff, can I ask you a question, because we talked about this before. The shade sails at the time with the outdoor fitness court, you were told you needed 9-foot.
Yeah, we're gonna
footers for
we're gonna
those,
look
is
at that a little different from a different company. See if we can design that a little different. But
Yeah, that's a great question.
The footers?
Too, and that was a concern that I had as well. If that isn't feasible for our existing fitness court, and we've been waiting over a year for that, what makes us think that something like this is even on the game plan, simply because of logistics plus budget?
Well, road impact fees, we have quite a bit in there.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, it can be used for park improvements, upgrades, those kind of things.
Okay.
So we definitely would have enough money in there. Would I want to blow what we have? No, probably not, because we'd like to some contingencies. But right now, with all those projects, if we can use them, we have enough money for it.
Okay. Well, good
So,
to know.
Yeah, so, you know, we're looking at definitely doing that. You know, the shade sale, in hindsight, we should have just probably gone with the shade sale in the first place. I wasn't a part of that initial negotiations. I came in at the very end when it was getting installed. But during the install, you can buy, or you can do a shade sale that they would have put in for us, which would have been nice. But it's still, I mean, the fitness court is still getting used quite a bit, which is nice. I know it'd be nice to have a shade sale. But we also probably got to look at where the sun comes in, because half of it might be in sun most of the day anyway, so. But those are some improvements we want to do for the park, but it came down to, we had $2 million to spend on the Bay Oaks Park. I think we all know what happened the first round. I think it was up to 6 million to do what we wanted to do kind of now, but upgraded. We had to really dumb it down to get it within budget, or we'd lose that $1 million. Actually, 2 million, because $1 million of it was ARPA funds, which also ran out. So we had to make it this way to make it work. So we didn't really have any extras. Once we started talking about impact fees, you know, it came up that we have quite a bit in park impact fees, so we can make some additions with that. But the way the park is right now, it is kind of what we could do with it. You know, it came in, we had one bid and it came in at like 1.9. And the other ones came in 4 million and above. You know, we had to really go back to the drawing board and rebid it just to kind of dumb it down the way it is, which is, it's not great to say, but at least we got a park done. It's starting to get grass. We do have a walking path if you want to use it. It could be improved, but we do have that, and it is complete. And then the pickleball courts we have to let it cure from the time they put the asphalt down, about 15 to 20 days, and then they'll start painting the lines and putting the nets on and putting the fence up, so.
So for completing all of that, what is the timeline that you have for?
It'll be done by the end of October.
The end of October, okay. So given those great ideas for events going forward, is there any plan in place for those events, and how would the Friends of Bay Oaks participate in terms of getting sponsors? It would seem to me that if the park is going to be open beginning in some part of October, that planning for season would be something that Bay Oaks could be doing now.
Yeah, I would think of it a little bit just like the Friends of Mound House. You know, they do fundraising events, so they could do a fundraising concert, they could do an event down there. So our
that's the
special
question of
events,
when.
remember, our special events as a town were proposed to be completely cut. That's the other caveat. You know, we have this, we want to do all these things, but we may have to cut all the time and the money to do it. So it
Well-
really is, you're right, Michelle, when you said before, we need to figure it out. Like, how can we figure this out? It's been personally very stressful with this budget cuts. It's disappointing a little bit because I brought Neil in, and I brought Neil in a lot because he has so much pool experience.
Oh, gosh.
And he's ran pools, so we're just waiting for that to get open. So we had anticipated that already, but I mean, he does a great job at the rec center too, but you know, coming in and taking a job and then having half your staff get cut, like, it's not easy on him. So, and I understand that. I'm not trying to make excuses or be a Debbie Downer, but I don't, it's just something that had to happen. We had a deficit. Our millage rate didn't go up. It may or may not go up now. And for a town that went through a major hurricane and went through 4 other ones, and not, you know, it's hard to do. You know, we at first we got a lot of funding coming in, grants. We got, you know, money from the state, but it's not gonna always happen. It's been, you know, 3 years.
I actually have a question for Karen with regard to developer impact fees. When those fees are collected by the town, how are those fees distributed in terms of budget? Is it for infrastructure? Is it for recreational amenities?
So we have road impact fees and park impact fees.
But were those paid by the developer as part of the developer impact fee? And wasn't there supposed to be an evaluation of what those should be in terms of the structure?
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, where
Where
are
is
we
that?
with that conversation? And once those developer impact fees are received, where do they go?
So, just to set the table straight, everybody thinks that we don't have impact fees. We do, and we've been collecting them all the way through. what the firm was hired to do, because by state statute, you have to look at the impact fees, I think it's every 10 years? 7 years?
7.
7.
Yeah.
So that's what we're having them do, and just make sure that, are we at the right level of impact fees? Do we need to raise them? Are we too high in some areas, not in other areas? But that has all been in the process. I think they are coming to us in October with the final, end of October. It keeps getting moved around, but I think we took it out of the budget season because we didn't need one more thing on the agenda for September. But they will be coming back either in October or November to reset them. So some are going to go up and some are going to go down based on what we've used them for, how we grant, or how we gather them. But we do have impact fees in place.
Right. I know
And-
that there were impact fees in place.
Right.
What is the percentage of those current impact fees that goes to Bay Oaks or Mount House?
That I don't have the figures on. Do you have that, Jeff?
And how is that determined? Is that a policy, an ordinance?
It's a fee that they're trying to work out now. I don't know exactly how it works, but there's,
And I
like I
thi-
said, there's park impact fees that can go to park structures, and then there's road impact fees, which it sounds, when I heard, oh, there's road impact fees, we can redo some of the roads with that. Well, it's to improve it, it's to widen it, it's not to actually pave the roads.
And it's not to
It's
maintain
make
it?
new roads, no, it's not
No,
maintaining,
it's
so.
not.
Not
They
to
have-
maintain.
No, they have very strict
So-
That, I
guidelines
guess,
on
is
what
my
things can be
question.
used
Okay.
for. And that's mandated by the state. That comes to us and says, this is what you can use this on and only this, and this is how you use it.
So the state determines that?
Yes.
Okay.
So the other thing too is, in order to collect these impact fees, we have to have building going on. So even though we have approved a number.
Meaning the municipality itself?
Yep, so even though we've approved a number of projects, there's only 2 projects, basically, the beach bar that's open and the whale that's coming up next, that actually have had shovels in the ground.
Sure.
So it's slower on the uptick than we wanted it to be.
And of course, this only applies to commercial development. This does not comply with residential.
Correct.
Okay, right. Just
Correct.
making that clear.
Mhm.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Okay,
So-
anything more with regard to the staff report?
No, the only thing I have, and I'm sorry I've taken so long, but one of the things with thinking outside the box is, for Bay Oaks, is started thinking, can we be open extended hours without staff there? Is that even legally possible for us to do? Now, we've been working with the attorneys, working with insurance to get our, again, T's crossed, I's dotted, but can we be open from 5 a.m. until we open, let's say at 8 o'clock, being with no staff there, like you do at other fitness centers that are unmanned? I know the one I used to go to in Minnesota, there was nobody there. You fobbed in, there was cameras all around. There would be a little bit of money, but we have potential park impact fees to help do that. So my thought is they'd come in from the side door by the pond. The gym would be completely closed. They wouldn't be able to get any farther than that. They would have restrooms there. We'd obviously have to worry about, with insurance, I'm sure they have some things we have to do, as far as phones and those kind of things. But then can we be open until, let's say, 10 or 11 o'clock after we close at 7? So we're looking at ideas like that, but is that the safest option? I don't know, maybe. I mean, there's fitness centers that do that. Is that against our liability insurance? Is that against this? So we're trying to research to keep at least the gym open, the weight room equipment and cardio, as an added benefit if we can't open it up staff-wise. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
And what kind of waivers need to be
What's that?
signed?
Huh?
And what kind of waivers need to be signed? Because,
Right.
in a
It's a
public.
litigious issue.
Right, in a public gym, I mean, you do sign a waiver if, when you join that gym to have, hold harmless anything that happens.
Yeah, but the last thing I want to do is, like you said, Becky, not have it open for everyone to enjoy, but the situation we're in, we're trying to think outside the box and how can we open up, you know, it wouldn't be the gym part of it for the kids, of course, but it would be for those that want to come before work to work out or come after work to work out. So it's just a thought that we've had. I know we're researching what it takes as far as you know, the fob system and cameras and all that, and having a kind of a security company having to monitor it a little bit.
A
So
security guard wouldn't be out of the question, right, for those early morning or late
security
evening
guard?
hours?
No, we wouldn't be able to staff. We wouldn't be able to pay for a security guard.
The thing, they're
So-
cutting jobs left and right, they can't.
Yeah,
right.
but I mean, because obviously you want two people to open and two people to close. You know, you're dealing with cash. You're dealing with, you know, people that are just around. It's just a safety thing. I don't want. It's dark. You know, they're leaving, and I know things have happened on this beach before that involved just one person. I don't think it's safe to just have one person, you know, opening or closing. Anything could happen, and I want to make sure our staff are protected as well.
Do they also have age limits on that? Like if you're going in with a fob or it's secured differently, do you have to be 21 and over? That type of thing, I'm
Like you mean certain
assuming.
hours, like if it's 4 in the morning, you have to be older or something?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, that's what I'm
Makes sense.
thinking.
16 with an adult right now.
16 with
Yeah.
an adult. But if it was.
Yeah, that's all stuff we'd have to look at. Those
yeah,
were just
with
some ideas
liability
that.
insurance, I'm sure they have all kinds of cuts and ways to design it.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking talking about it, but if that's an option we have to support some of our residents that can't use it and want a membership, then it's something we're looking at.
Okay, anything more from either one of you with regard to staff report? Neil?
Do you guys have anything else for me right now?
Get a liquor license.
I would just, summarizing everything we said, with the Friends of Bay Oaks coming, we are gonna be turning over our group next month. Get the list of what the community wants over there, and then let's balance what we've got funds for and what we don't. But that's the biggest thing this group's asking me for, is what is the Christmas list?
Yeah,
So
that's
maybe
how it
it's-
works, and when we go forward, we'll present a budget to the Friends, and they will basically, we'll say, next year we'll need money for this, and this. This year's gonna be a little different, because if they raise a bunch of money, we may just ask for it. But how it works is we're just supposed to come in and ask for it, and we'd like to do it like budgetary, like we want 500 for marketing, we want an extra 25,000 for staff, something like that. So we'll present and that's on a low end, by the way, we need much more than that. We'd present a budget to kind of fill in those gaps, so, but for now, yeah, we can, I think we talked about what we needed. We needed extra staff to be open later, you know, to run youth camps and youth leagues and adult leagues and everything, so, yeah.
Okay, and then I've gotta ask one more.
Mhm.
The original design plans had 4 pickleball courts next to each other, and now they're running parallel all the way down the park. How and
That was
why
for
did we
s-
make that decision?
The sun. You'd be looking into the sun if they were the other way.
But is we legitimately gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 going
Yeah.
all the way down that way?
Are the tennis courts?
What do you see in a disadvantage for that?
For open play, cause they're all too far apart, and you're not gonna have like a place to coordinate everybody to move in and out. We originally, when we talked about it, we were putting 2 and 2 like this,
Yeah.
which you'd still get your north and south, but what's gonna happen is, I'm not an expert, but what's gonna happen is people are just gonna seclude into individual courts. It's not gonna be a more open pickleball environment at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Why
It's
was that
just-
decision made? Because
Well,
they-
part of it was
was a
made because it was gonna
decision
go where the
made.
trailers were, but FP&L didn't get there in time to take out the trees. So we couldn't put the pickleball courts there in time for the grant. The electric trees, you know, where they were.
Uh-huh.
And then when we put it over there, we thought about the sun and the way it should go. So we put them back to back and there'll be fence in between each one. And I've seen that before. That's not
Did we get
unusual.
any feedback from anybody on that decision?
It wasn't really it just had to happen because we were running low on time. So it's either that or we had to give back the grant pretty much.
Well,
Because we didn't have an extension at that point.
I would just say that we've got, I know there's not a lot of them out there, but there's a lot of pickleball players out there that 3 minutes every morning they're out there that we just went back and said, what's the difference between running them this way and putting them together?
Part of it was, there was a lot involved. There was where we were gonna put them, and then we just had.
Yeah,
to-
there's community feedback.
And you're saying
There's
that
the plans.
that should
and
have been on the
I've been
agenda
gone
for
for 3
Bayonne.
weeks and I just got bashed this morning, like, why do we have a parallel parking pickleball courts? And I'm like, what do you mean? I pulled the plans up this morning and then I got here and I'm like, okay. I just saying that we should get some feedback on decisions like
I
that.
was just trying to get 4 pickleball courts built in time.
And believe me, I appreciate that, but again, the pickleball players are like right there behind us to just say, hey, this is what we're looking at, we gotta make a quick decision. It's gonna be, and from a shade standpoint, I mean, now you're looking at, it's gonna be 1 shade court, how are you gonna do it versus 4 courts all the way down?
What do you mean?
Well, I'd take a Neil over, if you just use Bay Beach Lane, for example, they've got two courts right next to each other, and then you put 1 shade center right in the middle, and it feeds all 4. Now you've got 4 courts going all the way parallel,
Linear.
and we all have to drop our water bottles and our bags somewhere, so whether you have a bench or if you get the shade tree, they all need a place to congregate, and now you've got 4 pickleball courts going parallel, where we even, now you're gonna really have to probably put 2 sets of staging areas out there to be able to, people to put their
And
things.
if that's what we need to do, we'll try to find money to do that.
Was
Again,
that to accommodate the open field then, or was that more of a spacing issue in addition? Because that's a big design shift from what you.
Okay, so it started
originally-
at the trailers, and then it was gonna go 4 courts along the fence by the school. And then it got to where we just put it where it was, because of proximity to the restrooms, because I know that was an issue before, was not having close access to restrooms.
I remember hearing about that.
And I've seen that before with tennis courts and pickleball courts, just the 4 back-to-back. But,
In any event, it's fatal.
I mean, I don't know what,
This has already been determined, right?
it's done, yeah.
It's done,
It's-
so.
it's built.
Yeah.
Not even decided.
And-
After the fact, we got an extension, but we didn't know that until about a week before August 1st.
Okay, so that was unfortunate, and obviously Bay Oaks wasn't meeting during that time, and so we didn't have input, and I don't know if we would have even had input had we met those 2 months.
Yeah, I don't know where it would have gone besides in the middle of,
But
park.
according to this plan, we knew exactly where they were to go.
but they couldn't go there at the time.
So then I guess the question is, why weren't we notified as Bay Oaks members? Right?
It was a
That's-
staff
I think
decision.
that's what you're suggesting.
Yep.
That's, I just wanted
So I guess the
clarification.
question also.
So it
is
was
then
either
what
we do it or we
separates
don't.
staff
I
versus
mean, I don't know
advisory?
what to
Yeah.
say about that. We just had to do it.
Who determines what gets brought up here versus what
The,
staff just
you guys
decides?
do. We don't
Or
set
we
the
don't
agendas.
know. But we wouldn't have known that the pickleball.
No, that would
ball
just be an
placement was
update.
Placing, like the placement was changing.
But Jeff, so if they are where they are, right, can we be consulted, we meaning some pickleball folks, on where you set up the paddle, the open play rules and, because there's different ways to do it, and I know Veterans Park does it one way, okay? They have a big whiteboard, and it's out in the open, or, you set up your paddles and, there's a lineup, if you will, right? So maybe when you're designing, granted, it is what it is, but where open play rules are and, where you set up your paddles and all that, right? Can't we
Yes,
just be
there's,
consult,
yeah,
that-
there's, exactly, as you know, there are a lot of pickleball players coming inbound here again for the season, and everyone, I'm only 1 year into it, and I'm surprised how many players we don't have coming here because we don't have, the setup or enough courts. There are many that wanna come back here, so, again, I would ask that just make decisions like that, but it's easy to get the input. You can call any one of us to get that feedback So but I'm gonna continue the question. Believe me, I got pounded. I just literally got home last night. What are you doing for fencing? How high are the fences are gonna be? Because there's a road next to it.
Oh, what were they? I gotta look in the spec sheet. I
Gotta go at least like 8 or 9 feet up.
probably 10 feet.
Okay, again, because we have the side street that brings you back to the handicap parking. So if the balls are going out, so there are gonna be like 10-foot,
It'll be like it is on the tennis courts, so.
okay, and the tennis courts. Okay, and then the original plans, I understand we've now moved the 4 courts. Are you keeping the current 3 pickleball courts in place, or are you making them 100% basketball courts?
No, there'll still be, what, 7 back there? Is there 7
Okay, so you're
total?
keeping the 7, and so the basketball courts will still share with the pickleball players? Okay. That was the questions that everyone had.
Yeah, so there'll potentially be, what, 11 courts down there?
Correct.
Outdoor, and then we have indoor too.
Okay, any other questions for Jeff or for Neil? Yes.
Can I just bring up, I'm sorry, I have a hard stop at 1:30, but I was called yesterday on the Putt and Pub for Friends, because now that we do have that viable 401c3, we can be part of the Putt and Pub. And that one check that I gave you that we finally got
After
figured out.
years.
Yeah, it was like $1,700. I mean, that's what we made that one year on Putt and Pub. So I think it behooves us to say yes to that, and then at the next Friends meeting, we can figure out the details and put a committee on it or something.
Yeah, I agree, say yes, we've got the meeting on the 29th.
I would think it
That's-
needs to be part of it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will get back to John Thomas and say, yes, we're in, and try to get a great location.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect.
And I'm sorry, I do have to go
No,
at 1:30.
thank you, Karen.
Thanks for
That's
being here.
Very helpful, very helpful. Okay, are you guys?
You have to leave too, huh, Jeff?
Completed with your report? You have something, Neil.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've got a staff report I did. Some of the stuff we've kind of already gone over, but just the items that we haven't talked about.
Okay.
So I won't take too long, but I just wanted to talk about, we've got our new fitness equipment in. We last met in June, so we're happy to get the fitness equipment in. Everybody seems to enjoy both the weight room, the cardio room. We've had a lot of compliments about the quality of the machines. Seems to be a little bit better than the sets that we've had
Oh,
previously.
good.
Everybody,
Good news.
everybody pretty much for the most part likes the layout. It is a little bit different. There's been a few exceptions to that, but we've had a lot of compliments on that as well. Just some of the other progress, we did redo the temporary fencing that we have like out back for the outdoor pickleball courts. We've added a couple bollards, just like yellow poles right where the sidewalk comes in to Bay Oaks right before the bridge, because we had, some people that want to come up there maybe with vehicles, and we don't want anybody like with a heavy vehicle like on that bridge. So that'll help with that, and they can actually be removed. Do we need to remove them if we have like an event or we want to take those out? We are finally going to get, because we've been talking about it, 2 plastic, recycled plastic picnic tables. Those should be in by next week. And then I also have signs coming in that basically talk about like for where you walk in, where you see the sign for Bay Oaks, there's a green sign right there at the entrance. We're going to put another one that talks about that we have the basketball, pickleball, tennis courts behind the building, just to, bring a little bit more awareness to that. And then we're also updating the sign on the front entrance for the hours of operation that we're at now, because it's a little bit different, and that's been kind of confusing for some of the residents, especially everybody coming back into the building now. So I know we talked about a lot of like having to potentially cut programs, but the staff and I are really trying to figure out ways that we can still do programming. A lot of it's doing it within the hours that we're open now. It is difficult to do things on the weekends just because we don't have the staff to be able to pull it off. Unfortunately, like I'm pretty much coming in other than one day a week and opening the facility, and then we have staff that'll maybe an hour later we'll have another staff come in, another hour later a couple more staff come in, because we have to have at least preferably 3, but at least 2 stay till the end of Club Rec, which ends at 6 o'clock. So it's not ideal, if anybody has to like take time off or anything like that. We have utilized Eva that was there before, who's still there at the park. She's kind of helping Public Works, but she's come over, like we had a meeting here, to talk about our new benefits, so she came over to help us out. So we're really trying to do everything we can to, kind of squeeze the most out of, the staff that we have and with programming. But we are starting a co-ed kickball program that's going to start October 21st. So we've put it out to Margaritaville, Doc Ford's, Pink Shell. We also would like to have a couple employee teams, but we also would like to have a couple resident teams. And really, if it's anybody like a business on the island that wants to, like if a realtor wants to have a team for their business, they can do that. We could go as many as 8 teams. We need to have at least 4 to do that. So Margaritaville has still expressed interest. This is something that the athletic coordinator before I started had put out, and then we couldn't do it because of the storms. And so we did have some initial interest from Pink Shell, Margaritaville, Doc Ford's. So if you reach back out to them, but that's something that we're going to start, and I hope that, we'll get enough signups to do it. I know we have certainly enough probably with the town employees to make at least
Teams of
one
4?
team. Teams would be
For a league?
11 players, but yeah, we need at least 4 teams to be able to do like a league. The games would
Correct,
be.
but each team will be 4 people?
No, 11.
11
Yeah,
people per
so and then
team.
they have to have at least 4 ladies. They can have more than that, but that's just kind of how they have to be co-ed. So this is an adult league, and games would be on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings. From we'd have games last about an hour, so you'd have a game at like 5 and a game at 6. Be done by 7. We would need a staff person to kind of be out there, and I wouldn't say referee so much, but just kind of like be out there, take scores if there is a situation where we need to come and like make a call on a play. But really, the games can kind of be like refereed and like refereed.
Send me
as
the
far as
info,
that.
I'll get the resident team together.
What's that?
Send me the info, I'll get the resident team
Yeah,
together.
if you want to get some
Yeah,
of the pickleball.
I love it, I'll get a resident team.
Okay, yeah,
no
and it just
problem.
went out on Facebook, but we have all the flyers and everything. We also are doing a grand opening on October 15th. So that just went out, but we've reached out to a lot of community foundations. Our fitness classes are starting back in October. They're not all starting exactly the same week, but that's getting ready to go. I'm just waiting to hear back from the Zumba instructor on what week she's going to start in October, but those are all coming back in October. And hopefully most of those folks will be there at the grand reopening. So we're gonna have like a kind of like meet your staff, meet your fitness instructors. If any of like the pickleball players want to come out, like we may have Pam, who's been doing some lessons, and that's been great for us because we're making a little bit on that. Do kind of like a demo. I've talked to her a little bit about it. We got to make sure on that, but just to kind of help get the word out. We did drop off a lot of our programming flyers and then like our brochures with our hours of operation, our prices. We went out yesterday, actually, went to like most of the restaurants downtown, Margaritaville, some of the other resorts. We still got a lot more to hit. We went by the Chamber. So I feel like there's definitely a lot of room for improvement there to kind of get the word out that Bay Oaks is so tucked away back in the park, and if you haven't grown up here, a lot of folks, especially if they're visiting, they just don't know about it. So I feel like we can do a lot better job.
That is awesome work, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Moving forward, can you bring these flyers and these brochures and give us each a copy of them?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. We also want to do a dodgeball league in January. And we're also going to do like a parents' night out for parents that, like on December 5th, it's a Friday night. We're offering it to parents so they can drop their kids off. We're going to do like a movie and then have pizza, like a craft for the kids. And it gives the parents a few hours to go out and, they need to do some last minute Christmas shopping, or they just want to go out and have a nice relaxing evening without the kids. So that's another program that we're looking at. We actually have, and a lot of you that have been in there have seen, but we have the Lee County, it's Special Olympics pickleball team. They've been coming in on Mondays and practicing from 10 to 12. They take 3 of the courts. But it's been great. I mean, between the participants and the volunteers, we have probably 25 to 30 people every Monday. And they play a lot of their tournaments indoors, and so they don't have a lot of other facilities that they practice at where it's indoors, so it's been great for them to get the indoor play. But it's been great. It's been just really, it's just very like a positive program, and we're happy to help them. We do have the Lee County Strikers soccer team coming in on Thursdays. They've been coming in for a little over a month now. So we're making some money off of that. They're using the indoor court for their soccer practice. That's on Thursdays from 6 to 7:30. So that's bringing in some additional revenue. And then Jimmy, our youth and team coordinator, he's like, really good basketball player. He plays in a lot of teams, and so he's got a lot of great connections with local basketball organizations. He's been working with the Florida Reapers. It's an AAU basketball team, or I should say organization, here in Southwest Florida. We've been in discussion with their manager just this week, and they're interested in bringing some of their middle school age kids and teams here. So that's something that hopefully first of the year, January, we may be able to have them using our facility a couple nights a week and, bringing in some additional revenue there. So we're really, we're trying to, find new kind of ways, avenues to bring in additional money. We do want to do some,
I have a question
Yeah.
about that. With regard to that tournament, is that where the public would be invited? And do you have the stands where, it would be an actual, thing for somebody to come to attend, to watch?
for
the
kickball, basketball. So
Yeah.
I want to get some new bleachers in there. The ones that we have behind the building really need to kind of get discarded. They've been out there for all the storms and flooded, and they're just, I wouldn't want to bring them inside and
So
potentially,
there's-
but yeah, we need to get some bleachers. But these are practices. So not to say that the community couldn't come out, because we'd still, for most of that time, be still open as far as our hours are now. But yeah, I think starting out with practices, the manager wants to come down and look at our facility. We could certainly do tournaments. Are we there right now? No, but I think if we get an AAU team that's using our facility on a regular basis, they could do tournaments here. We don't have 8 courts, but
Right.
you could have a small tournament over a weekend, and yeah, you could probably have 6 to 8 teams, and it'd be a really, a nice way to bring in some additional revenue.
Exactly.
So those are the kind of things that, I think down the road, if we create this, partnership, we could definitely do.
Again, planning events that people can enjoy, the
Right.
community can rally around, and yeah, it sounds great.
But Barbara McDonald, she's been promoted to our senior program coordinator, so she's going to be running the BOSS program. She's already coordinated trips for November and December for the BOSS program, so we put that out and advertised that. She's reached out to everybody that we have from our previous years of doing the program. So we're going to have a table of information at our grand opening for that. So that's going well. She's getting a lot of, people that are reaching out, that are excited. So I feel like we're going to have a really good BOSS program, and I think we'll just build, as we get into January, February, and March. But we're really trying to be conscientious about some of the trips that we're doing, making sure that we can basically, we're not going to lose money, and then places that are really flexible. So we don't have to buy 30 tickets and then, we didn't get that many people that signed up for this. Now we're stuck with 8 or 10 tickets. So, that they're giving us, if we don't have so many signed up by a certain date, we can cancel and not lose money. So we're trying to really be conscientious about that. And then we will have some fun days available for the days that there's no school, but we're still open. So that's September 23rd is the next one. We have one on October 11th, and we have the Monday through Wednesday, the week of Thanksgiving. Not Thursday and Friday, but those days we'll have fun days for our school-age kids to come in. But yeah, I think, I want to try to put some positivity into what we're doing. It is tough, like with the staff that we have, but they've been, everybody's like really been positive, and, we've all been kind of trying to do things that aren't necessarily like our area, and everybody's been great, and everybody's just been very, just what can I do to help? And, I think hopefully at some point we'll be able to hire some more staff this year coming up, probably not, but I also think just because of the situation where the rec center's been closed for so long, and, we haven't made any revenue, it's easy to say, well, look at this big loss and cut it, but, we've also, we can only do so much when, when I started, I was working out of the trailers, the rest of the staff is over at the library, so I feel like, well, we've come a pretty, far away since when I started. We're back in the building, we see a lot of smiling faces, a lot of kids that are happy. The summer camp was a great success. We had 225 kids over the 9 weeks. So we averaged about 25 kids a week. I think we got up to about 34 for like our busiest week.
Is that in your report about how many people attended?
Yeah, I did see it.
For the summer camp?
I have that just in the report. No, I don't know if I put that in there,
I read
so,
it
but yeah,
somewhere.
I can give you some figures. We had 225 summer camp registrations. We have right now 24 kids registered for the Club Rec after-school program. For the fitness, for the gym, just as far as like check-ins with our residents, and I should say our non-residents, we've had 229 between August 18th and August 30th. August 18th is when we started back with our regular rates.
Are your figures in any of the reports that you've given to us, or are you just reading that from your report?
I'm reading that from my report, so
Okay,
I can
and maybe
include that in the next.
If you can include
Sure.
that information in the
Okay.
for our next meeting,
Okay.
so we have a chance to review that.
Okay. For open basketball, that's Friday evenings from 5 to 7. We've been averaging anywhere from about 8 to as many as 15 participants. That's Friday nights, again, from 5 to 7. And then as far as the indoor pickleball, we had from basically when we opened in June to Friday of last week, we've had about 164 players. That does include the folks we've had coming in for lessons and that kind of thing. So, and I know, it's been a lot of upset with, when we opened, the residents didn't have to pay to come in and play for open pickleball. And then when August 18th came, normal rates went back. So then residents were paying, or members were paying $5, and then non-residents were paying $10. And, you can pay it for free outside, so I understand. But, I can't just waive the fee, obviously. I have to like charge what the fees are. But there's a pretty high chance, at least it's been proposed, to include the indoor pickleball with the membership going forward. So we'll see, if that gets approved.
Are we gonna have that on the agenda for next month's meeting, is the actual fee schedule for pickleball then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Are you gonna
I
charge
should
for
be able to. I
non-residents?
mean, as long as I have them before the meeting, I should be able to include what the updated fees are.
Are
Yeah.
you gonna charge for pickleball for the non-residents?
We would still charge like,
Yeah.
for non-residents, and I think that's another great way, because, I mean, somebody that's coming down to visit for a week,
Yeah,
they don't have
they'll
a problem
pay.
coming in paying
They
$10
should have
to
to
play.
pay. They should have to.
Right.
Not a resident.
Right, and I think, and, I think, yeah, it should be, I go back and forth on like, should it be included? A lot of places, like the county, it's included, but you can't really compare us to the county, because they have so many more facilities, they have so many more amenities at their facilities, they have such a bigger tax, base to draw from, so it's not really apples to apples, but I get it, I mean,
Non-resident
it started out,
residents
I think it
have
was
no
always a
problem
charge, but it started out like at $1 or $2, and now it's, kind of crept up to $5, so. But I mean, that's great, because I think we could do a lot better job of bringing more non-residents in and still end up probably making more than if we just, charge the residents and they can go out and play outside for free. So we want people in the building, so that's the goal.
Did you get a chance,
Did you get a chance to talk to Bounce Back, and how did that conversation go? The recycling of the pickleballs company, the gentleman from FGCU?
I did talk to him. I have to circle back to him, but I don't see there being a problem with bringing
So
it
I'll give you a
in.
quick thing. I met a kid at FGCU who's got a patent. We crack pickleballs a lot. If you don't play pickleball, we crack them a lot. So he gives us a recycle bin, and you put all the recycled pickleballs in there, and then he takes them back and then recycles them. And if you go to any of the pickleball courts anywhere,
Yeah.
pretty much in Southwest Florida, these bins are available. It's free.
Right.
So I
That's
hooked him
cool.
up and asked him to drop one of the bins off.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, so that's all I have for my
Okay.
report.
Any other
Any
questions
questions?
for Neil? No? Good?
In my, I do.
Yes, no,
So,
Joy.
does this mean, oh, sorry. Does this mean, no weekends? So what about those tournaments that we, like the November 15th
Right.
pickleball, and of course the one that I arrange in March? Are they on or off?
No, they're on. I mean, we'll figure out what we have to do as far as having staff around. We don't have to have a full staff.
No.
So,
We have
it's
plenty
not,
of volunteers.
right, and you have a lot
And,
of volunteers.
you have to get the fire
Right.
department and,
Right.
so.
But yeah, we need to have staff presence, when that many people are down at the park. So we'll figure it out. We'll make it work.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then on the concession, above the ball diamond, where is the status on that? Is it done? Is it refurbished? The only reason I'm asking, before you came, the Community Foundation donated $5,000 to go towards the concession stand. And I've asked about it one or two times, and I'm just asking again.
Right. I did reach out to Nicole when you brought that up, and we did get a check for, I think it was like $9,000 for, basically, it's like all the kitchen equipment, everything
Yeah.
for the concession that you're talking about. So the money should still be there. I just don't know, like they're kind of changing, like up above is where Eva, the Public Works, office is, so, and now we've just hired a new assistant Public Works director. So I know that they're kind of moving the Public Works, guys' office area, is my understanding is they're moving them downstairs. So I don't know how that affects having a,
So you're saying
concession
that
and,
the staff is actually in the concession building?
yeah.
I didn't
So-
know that. Yeah.
That's
I
my
don't think they
understanding,
did
and
either.
I'm not always plugged into exactly what's going on with Public Works, but,
So I guess I'd like an answer on that.
okay.
Yeah.
It's I think it was 2 years ago.
Right,
And so I'm just curious about that. I'd like an answer.
Okay.
And then, this is a nit, but the Bay Oaks social seniors, or senior social, if we could, I think of my mother when I think about social seniors.
right.
80-year plus, And so if we can update that to be something more youthful, I'd appreciate that.
The boss
I don't
program?
consider myself a senior, even though I know I am technically. I know I am.
You're as old as you feel, Joy.
I am. But
Age is just a number.
if you would just consider, youth, making it more youthful, that would be,
And we've talked about that, and that's kind of the plan.
You need an acronym because it's BOSS right now.
I
the
know,
BOSS
it's
program, so.
like.
With anything
Bay Oaks
else, I can't
Adult
just go and
Recreation,
change
so
the
that would
title
be
of a program.
That's terrible
That's terrible.
too.
Don't
But
do
I
that.
No, I
Bay
think
Oaks
we
Youthful
all,
adults, that's boy, yeah.
I think we all recognize that we need to change it, and it needs to be a little more inviting, and, there's no reason why you can't have people, whether it's under the age of 55 or, do a lot of these trips, and we don't want to limit ourselves,
Agreed.
So it's just with anything else, it's kind of got to go through a process,
I
and we
understand.
can't just change the name of it.
Anyway, that's mine.
But no, I 100% agree with you.
Neil, going on to that, silver sneakers. Do we have a silver sneaker? I know the vice mayor likes to speak about silver sneakers quite a bit. Do we have a program going? Is there something we need to do with
We
insurance
couldn't- We
companies?
couldn't apply for it because there was another
Right.
facility that was within our range that already has a silver sneakers, and so we would not be eligible because of our location.
So I
For
had a
silver
resident
sneakers.
ask
We had
about that this
conversation like
week.
3 or 4 years ago.
Hold on, I'm
with
trying to
Oaks.
follow both, I guess.
And I've been involved with them with like the YMCA and some other places. So, I mean, we can reach back out, and that was, I had talked to the staff about that, to say, you know, when that gentleman came in, if it's something we had ever done, and Aaron basically said exactly what you just, that there was another
I think it
gym or
was-
fitness
what's
area
that
that was
name that's down
within,
off of Summerlin there,
right.
the county program, the county
But I'm sure
recreation
it's
center.
been some time since we've looked at that, so, you know, we
I
can
think that's a
always
great
reach
idea.
back
Can we
out and
put
see
that on
if
the
it's an
agenda to follow
option.
up on? That's a great idea.
Funding.
Let's do that.
And my understanding is they kind of play, they kind of like help bridge for people that need help with like maybe paying for a membership. So I mean, I don't.
It's good for
I
any
can look
senior.
into it. I've never heard where it's like they're gonna just donate money. It's more like they help people.
I think the
pay for their
insurance companies
memberships.
pay part of the fees to be in the silver sneakers program. And I know in some places I worked in the past, it was like insanely popular.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm happy
It's
to
a
look
rev,
into
my
that.
mom uses it, so her silver, she goes on her website and through Medicare and then goes and looks for the silver sneaker gyms to go to.
Right.
It's a great revenue
great
producer if we
marketing.
can get
Okay.
on it,
It's great marketing.
that you don't pay for if we just have to get qualified.
And I agree, Michelle. Let's put that on the agenda for October. Okay, any more questions for Neil? I'd like to go ahead and move on, and frankly, with the upcoming items for discussion, a lot of these 3 agenda items have already been discussed to some extent, so let's briefly go through to talk about what has not already been discussed. Friends of Bay Oaks, I think I'll hand that over to Michelle to give a report if there's anything in addition.
No, follow-up would be, please find volunteers that want to join this group, and we are doing a kickoff meeting via Zoom on September 29th. That plan is following that, we will do the meetings in person. Neil offered that we could do them here, use the facilities, the Friends of Bay Oaks.
Okay.
Just
Oh, you're
making-
asking me?
Yeah, we were told that we could
Okay.
use the meeting facilities here. So they're doing the next one on Zoom, and then the plan is moving forward is
Okay.
to actual do in-person.
So
meetings.
starting in October, here in the
Yes.
town hall?
We
Okay.
would
Well,
like to
and,
start.
and I would like to request that one of our staff members, and maybe it could be Neil if he's got the time, that could be part of that Friends meeting, because from what I'm seeing, there's a bit of overlap in terms of not having a full understanding about what the Friends can do and what the staff is ultimately responsible for. So, for
That is-
example.
That's correct, so that's why Karen has been awesome. She attended and kicked it off and then took us through, and I also got a lot of information from the Friends of Lovers Key that I have given to this group. So they've
Okay.
got, I wouldn't say they definitely could use some more education, but there's also a couple people on there that have been on other boards similar, 501c3s, so we've got a good platform so far, but as much history and background, and yes, we would love Neil to be on there.
What's different about, and of course, Friends of Lovers Key, you're dealing with the state, so it's not a municipality per se. A lot of nonprofit organizations, 501c3s, are its own entity running a very small group. But in this case, this is a municipality. They have town staff that's responsible for programs, for, keeping the records, for financial, for issues of budget. But to Neil's point earlier, let's create that menu of items about your wish list, maybe the bleachers, maybe to, go organize a concert, and put down what the tentative dates that could be available to do that, and what we think that would be, not we, but the Friends think that would be in terms of funding opportunities. Then that's where you guys can run with it, and that's the volunteer efforts, and but in terms of strategic plannings, we have to work under what the town's plans are.
You're absolutely right, and that's why earlier I said, start putting your wish list together, because they're gonna be
Yes.
coming at you, and that
Great.
was the purpose of that earlier, so I think we've got that covered.
You want the
Great.
meeting at Town Hall or at Bay Oaks?
The first meeting is gonna be via Zoom, because
Right,
there are a
after
couple of people, we had talked about actually doing the meetings moving forward to follow,
Oh, yeah,
actually
the
follow
friends.
these, but we don't wanna do it with the October meeting, because we're actually
Got
going to be
it.
doing some votes on our own. I think we need to focus on our group first. So
Yeah.
September 29th, then, so it would be our November meeting, would be my hope that they could follow before or after our meeting, and that way we could get as
Got
much
it.
involvement from this group and feedback and not take up as much time. Or at least be, let's say, be part of maybe their first half hour.
And then now that you've got the bank account set up, you can request from the town for that, what, 19,000, Neil, is that what you said?
18,000.
18,000, if
Already
that,
done.
if that can then be transferred to your bank account, that can happen ASAP.
We've already put the request in, we've just been waiting for the check. We did get the other check that was missing from Karen, and that's been
Yes,
deposited.
got that in.
So,
Good,
the
okay.
request is already into the town, we're just waiting for Joe to give us the check.
Fabulous, fabulous, great, thank you, Michelle. Anything more? All right, sounds like you've got an amazing game plan, that's awesome. It's great to finally have that impetus for getting the Friends to be supportive of Mount House, or Bay Oaks, sorry. Okay, speaking of Bay Oaks, park project improvements, I think Neil's already touched on that,
Yeah.
and of course, we can hopefully get those timelines locked in and usable, which will be really awesome. Upcoming programming and events, I think that Neil also touched on that. Do you have anything further, Neil?
No, I think we pretty much went over everything, but I'm looking forward to kind of sitting down with the staff and, like you said, with the wish list for friends and
That-
what we can come up, because we would love to, when we get everything kind of with the improvements as far as the field and kick it off with a big, event, concert, festival.
Right.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Food court, we used to have this the food festival, remember the one that was down off of San Carlos Boulevard? What was the name of that called? Well, yes, thank you, Taste of the Beach. Thank you, Rick. Taste of the Beach. Why
Okay.
don't we have that at Bay Oaks? And that could be maybe a revenue producer for us as well.
Yeah.
Okay. If we have nothing further with regard to those items for discussion, let's move on to member items and reports. And we'll go ahead and start with Becky.
The only thing I have is that this is my last meeting. My term ends next month, and I did not turn in my application to renew. I've been on BORCAB for 4.5 years. So Rick, I wish you the best for my seat or Betty's. I'm pulling for you. We need somebody to pull for the families, and we're still here. So that's why I joined BORCAB in the first place. There's a lot of personal things that's where my heart and my passion is right now. So I'm just going to focus on my family and my house, and we're not going anywhere, so I'll be here for public comment. But I figure somebody else would be better in this position to devote the 110% that it deserves. And I don't feel like I have that for the next 2 years. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Becky, and thank you so much for all the years of service that you
Thank you.
did provide in making Bay Oaks successful. Thank you. Great contribution to the community.
I appreciate it.
And we will miss you. And
I
this
do
is-
appreciate that too.
yes.
I'll come show up.
Okay, come and bitch to us with reckless abandon.
Exactly.
I have nothing to report. Michelle, anything more? Joy?
Well, actually, there's a couple of us that actually, our term is expiring. Myself included, and I have applied to continue, because I think there's still a lot to do.
A lot.
A lot to do, and so I hope that I can continue.
That's a
Okay,
ditto here,
thank
my
you,
term's
Joy.
up, and I have also put my application in to continue.
Is your term up now this time too?
I think
Okay,
it was the
yours as
four of
well.
us, like you also,
And
right?
myself
It's the
as
four of us,
well.
I believe, yeah.
Ed, how about you? Do you have any member items?
I believe I have a year left.
You do.
So
Okay.
You
you're-
do.
You're
You're
making me
okay,
feel
Ed.
kind of lonely here. I have nothing else to add. Thank you, Neil, and I appreciate the town manager coming.
Yes,
There's a lot of work those guys are doing, and it's appreciated.
Thank you.
absolutely. And yes, I also put my application in, but it wasn't until after I learned that Betty Simpson had passed away, because my intent was also to drop off beginning in October. So when I heard that she was not obviously going to be attending, and with her passing, she's going to be horribly missed after all of these years, I felt as vice chair, it was important for me to maintain this presence at least until the next election, which I understand will be in October or November.
The next council meeting is October 6th, and that's when
Okay,
they will
then
vote, which
ours
is why
is-
this puts my last meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, okay. So we're going to put on the agenda the election, and again, and this was in last meeting, and you'll see it in the minutes, that I am requesting that you not only now get a new president, but also get a new vice president. So I'm happy to serve as a regular member, but I think it's time for somebody else to take a leadership role. So that's, I think, all I have to report. I'd also like to put on the agenda the concession building to Joy's Point, because there's $9,000 that's been donated from the foundation, and we want to know what the plan is. And if that is a plan that needs to have this board action, we want to make that happen. I think part of some of the frustration, Neil, that you're hearing today is the fact that a lot of these decisions have been made without community input. And I understand there's been budget constraints, there's been time constraints, but really, that's why we're here. If we cannot be a part of that conversation, then we will have lost our reason for being. So we would like to be able to be more proactive in some of these decision-making processes. And maybe what we can attribute all this to is the confusion with all of these storms and the destruction and the rebuilding that's been going on. But going forward now with our new fiscal year beginning October 1st, I really would like to see better planning going forward. Next meeting agenda is set for next, what is it, 17th? No, not, that's this month. What is October?
The 15th
October 15th?
is the third
on-
Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh, and that's the day of our grand opening?
Yes.
Yeah, the grand opening is from 5 to 7 p.m., so.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we can
it's-
just
we can do it.
meander from here over to. All right, awesome. All right, so we have the next meeting date and agenda set. I'd
And
like
that's,
to-
we're gonna remain meeting at noon, is that correct?
Yes, still
Okay.
meeting at noon. I think that this is a regularly scheduled meeting. We just have to confirm each time, I suspect, that yes, the date is set. Motion to adjourn?
I'll move to,
Oh, we don't have it on our, oh, yes, we do have public comment. Yes, I'm sorry. Howie, my
I
apologies.
listen to everything, and for all the stuff at night and everything, we're gonna have to put lights up there. You know, so, because 7:30 tonight, the sun sets. So if you wanna have these leagues and things like that, it's gonna set a lot earlier. So if you wanna have these activities 7 o'clock at night, you're gonna need lights on the field.
Yeah, good
And-
point.
And also, we should have the meetings up at Bay Oaks, at least feel what you're talking about and see. Thank you.
Thanks, Howie.
Thank you, Howie. Rick?
I hope I don't go over 3 minutes. There was a quote maybe like 10 years ago we had for Musco Lights for doing turtle lights, and they were compliant too, so that we could actually have them on at night. Because one of the biggest problems we had with lights was we were have to shut them off at dusk, which didn't make any sense. So if you do lights in the future, make sure that they are turtle compliant and that they align for that. I made a lot of notes. One One is the reason that nobody wants to bid projects on Fort Myers Beach is exactly what you thought. Contractors shake their heads as in, you heard the rules starting up. There's just way too many rules. There's way too many crap we got to go through to do anything. No one wants to bid a project on Fort Myers Beach, plain and simple. So it's very hard to get a contractor to do anything out here unless they've worked out here like us all the time, and that's all we do. So, no fee hike. I recommend no fee hike because rec programs are revenue neutral. They always have been. We've been fighting about this for 25 years. You're not going to make money on Bay Oaks. It's not a money maker situation. It's called Parks and Recreation. It's not a money maker situation. Never will be. It hasn't been. Has the roof been evaluated, Neil, since the storms? Because I know we put a coating on that roof back about 10 years ago that was only about a 10-year coating. And I'm a little concerned that if we don't have money in the budget for that roof coming up, that we'll lose one of the biggest attractions we have at Bay Oaks, which is the building. So I'm a little concerned about what we're doing there as far as maintenance and what in the future we have as far as budget, because that's going to be a large budget item coming up.
Yeah.
The history on the concession stand, it was built by Little League, donated by Little League, ran by Little League, and all the equipment in there previous to Ian was Little League's equipment. The upstairs was our equipment room for our equipment and our meetings that we had to have as a board of directors for Little League and soccer and any other organizations that use that field. And the two buildings next to it, the bathroom there, was also our equipment room and storage for our umpires and things like that. Of course, you've heard that those rooms have been taken over, so they're unavailable for anything like that to ever be done again. So, unless something opens up or we build new fields, new concession stands and things like that. But we basically ran those as a league for years and years, and everything in there was the equipment of the Little League. So, investing in our parks and recreation is important, and I don't think it's been given to our community as far as a budget properly. When they say they're going to raise our millage rate, they don't exactly tell you why. And they don't pose it to our citizens as why they're going to raise these millage rates. Say we're going to raise the millage rate 0.25, nobody knows anything about what. If you ask the community if Bay Oaks is important and you want to make that part of that millage rate, that makes it a little different. And I think the town's done a poor job in the future or in the past as how they present that item, because Bay Oaks is an important part of the community, and I think the community supports Bay Oaks. But we've never been given the fact that we want to vote on giving that money to Bay Oaks. It's always, well, this is the millage rate, this is what you get, we're going to take it away here, we're going to take it away there. I think as a community, we need to know what part of that millage rate you're going to raise to fund Bay Oaks, because Bay Oaks does need to be funded. And so does Parks and Recreation. It's not going to be a moneymaker. No matter what we do to bring people in the pool, people to practice on the fields, all you do in a sense when you do that is take away from the local community availability to use that item. So if you've got 10 teams practicing on 10 nights a week or 5-7 nights a week, that just eliminates the rest of the county or the rest of us from being able to use those fields. So I understand why you want to make the money, because it's always been an issue. We've been dealing with this for 25 years. But in a sense, that's not what it's about. Bay Oaks is not about making money. Never was, never will be. It's always going to be something that we have to pay for as a community. And we should be responsible for that. And we should know when we vote in the budget what part of that we're voting in for Parks and Recreation. And if we want to say no, then we say no to that part. I liken it to when we were back in kids and we were looking for our buses to run in our neighborhoods. And every year the budget would come up, and the first thing they get rid of, no, got to get rid of the school buses, because that's, the things that everyone's going to take attention to. Well, Bay Oaks is just like that. We need to know what we're spending it on, and we'd be happy to know that we're spending that extra 25 cents or that extra $1 on Bay Oaks and its programs, because they're necessary and they're needed by our community to grow. They're necessary for our community to have children back and families back. So as a budget, that should be included in any budget. It shouldn't be an issue among us residents if we're presented with that properly. So I think that as a town, that needs to be presented separately so that we know what we're asking for. Because me and him, we live here and we know damn well we're going to vote for that budget if you tell us that we're voting for something for Bay Oaks. So I think that that's very important to separate that. So What else did I have?
And you're gonna have to wrap it up. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I just want to go,
I
you know, as
think
far
you
as the
went over
I have to
safety.
go get my
three.
kids from school,
You
too.
went over the three already.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
being
well,
kind.
I don't even, that was never 3 before. In fact, we were happy to have
Well,
people
sorry,
here.
but it is
So,
now.
so if I get on this board, the first thing I'm going to say is that, you know, people that come here to speak, they don't deserve 3 minutes.
Well,
There's very
it-
few people that ever come here to speak, and I think cutting them to 3 minutes is not fair. So, because if they come in with anything to speak about, it may take longer than 3 minutes. and I'm
You're all
sorry
good,
about
Rick, go
that.
ahead with your
So-
other
I
last topic.
can I
Thank
excuse
you.
myself? I have to pick my kids up from school.
Yeah.
So I do
I'll
have
go.
to
I'll
leave,
let.
so
Sorry, guys.
I don't, I just have to personally leave because they're gonna.
Yeah, I think we'll go
Be
ahead
late.
and adjourn then.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your comments. Did we have a motion to adjourn? Anyone?
So move.
All right, Ed.
I'll second
Thank
that
you.
one.
And that would be Becky. Thank you. Motion approved and, all right, thank you. Aye.
Thank you.
Let's see, what is the time? 2:12.
Yeah, 2:12.
2:12 PM.
So Becky,
Okay, so I was confused.
Adjourned.